practice. Today, we will focus on yoga for the shoulders. Yoga to open up and support, strengthen, and provide suppleness in the shoulders. So let's begin by standing with your feet distance apart, grounding into your heels, placing the balls of the toes onto the floor, and rotating the shoulders up, down, and back so that the shoulder blades are kissing, touching on the backside, and the palms are open, breathing into the front side of your chest, your nice proud chest. You can close your eyes here as you lift up on your kneecaps, and just feeling this extension, imagining that the fingertips are extending down towards the floor, another centimeter or two. And see if you can take a nice deep inhale in through your nose and exhale out your mouth swiftly 2 times. One more time, pulling down on the fingertips, inhaling in through the nose, extending the fingertips down to the floor as that inhalation comes all the way up into your proud chest. Can you feel the lift? And then exhaling out your lips. And one more time, inhaling in through the nose, fingertips come down. Exhale out the mouth. Beautiful. Releasing the tension out of the fingers, letting that go, and shaking the hands out. Beautiful. We'll inhale the arms above the head. And exhaling the hands back to heart center as you bend the knees. Inhale, extending out the fingertips. Nice and strong, stretching up through the front body. Reaching the fullness of the inhale and exhaling the hands back to the heart center. This time we're going to do the same thing, bring the hands up, but this time bringing the back of the hands together. So that the pinkies touch at the top, and exhaling the hands back to the heart center, flipping the hands around. So just seeing if you can rotate the rotator cuffs out and up. This gives you more of a lift in the chest as the back of the hands touch. At the top, breathing into your proud chest and then exhaling the hands to heart center very slowly. As you reach the bottom of the exhale, the knees bend. And one more time, inhaling up, extending slowly through the fingertips as if you're moving through molasses, lifting up out of the armpits, lifting the hands up. At the top, the back of the hand sweeps together, a little slight back bend in the neck, and then exhale, hands back to heart center. Beautiful. Standing in Tadasana, your proud mountain pose, like a mountain with your feet pressed down, the top of your head being the apex of the mountain. And then reaching behind your back, you're going to grasp your hands here. If they're available to you, you could even grab onto the backs of your elbows if that's available to you, or as much as possible, just imagining that the hands are coming together here. Opening, breathing into the chest. If you'd like a little more here, you can sit down into an imaginary chair, just making sure that the knees don't come over the toes here. Tugging the tailbone under. Breathing back into your proud chest. One more inhale here. And then if it's comfortable, clasping the hands together, inhaling to standing, and then exhale, cascading forward into your forward fold with the hands clasped together behind you, holding onto your elbows, or holding onto the hands. This is giving you a stretch on the back side of the shoulder blades, which is going to open up the front of the chest. You're feeling the shoulders pulled back together and seeing if you can release the head, just shaking the head back and forth really gently. Yes, please. No, thank you. Releasing any tension out of the head and the neck. And then releasing the hands down, letting them drag down forward, hanging the hands forward, grabbing a hold of the elbows, bending the knees, resting on the thighs here. The upper body leans onto the quads, and then reaching forward with the hands. You can grab the hands, you interclasp the hands with the pointer finger straight out. Sitting back in a chair here, pulling up on your belly to support you. One more breath here, pressing into the heels, imagining that the knees are even drawing in towards each other. And then exhale, gently releasing, hanging into a forward fold, and rolling all the way up. Beautiful. We can inhale the hands up above the head, drawing the feet a little bit closer together so that the feet are actually underneath the hips this time. And then draw the hands back up if they're not already up. Exhaling forward, cascading down to forward fold. Inhaling up to flat back, pressing into your feet, lifting up on your kneecaps. And on the exhale, bringing the arms down to the ground. The feet come back into parallel. The knees come down. And then drawing the elbows down to the floor, we're going to come into a dolphin pose to work on strengthening the shoulders here. So you can grab a hold of both of your elbows here, and that's so you know that your shoulders are properly placed apart when you can grab a hold of the backside of both elbows. Then placing the hands down into a nice strong base on the ground, or you can keep the fingers interlaced together into a little triangle here. Tucking the toes under and walking the feet up towards the nose. Looking back at the belly button draws back into the spine. Inhaling here. Imagining the heels coming down towards the ground. You can even bend the right knee, alternatively bend the left knee, bending the right knee, then bending the left knee, and then walking the feet back, all the way back until you're into a plank position on your shoulders here, puffing up into the back of your chest, then exhaling the knees down to the ground, and walking back into child's pose. Releasing the forehead down to the ground. Taking 2 breaths here. And just noticing, can you breathe into the backside of your shoulder blades? Can you breathe into the back of your shoulder girdle? Beautiful. And then walking the hands back up. Fantastic. We'll do that one more time, working on coming into the dolphin pose. So elbows shoulder width apart, clasping the hands together, pressing the shoulders into the ground, feet hip width distance apart, tucking the toes, drawing the heels up into the air. As if you're standing in high heels, belly button draws back towards the spine. You're looking all the way back towards your belly button here, but making sure that your head is nice and loose and free at the same time. And then you can bend the right knee, left heel comes down to the ground, bend the left knee, right heel comes down to the ground, and alternate just walking out the back side of the hamstrings here. Nice and strong through your shoulders. You might even walk the feet up another centimeter or 2 here. Breathing here. This is so good for when the head is below the heart. It begins to signal to the nervous system that it can begin to come down here and come into some more of an active rest. And then walking the right foot out, walking the left foot out, and coming back into your plank position, bringing the hips down parallel to the ground. Staying here in plank if that's comfortable for you, or drawing the knees down to the ground. And puff up into the back side of your chest between your shoulder blades here. Then exhale, bringing the knees down to the ground, and we're walking the belly button all the way down to the ground. Fantastic. The head will come down and rest on the hand, making a little pillow with the hands. The feet are in parallel. Taking one resting breath here. before we come into Shalabhasana pose, or lotus pose, a moderation of it, variation of it. So bringing your hands back, parallel to your legs, the feet hip-width distance apart, reaching behind the back and seeing if you can grab the hands, interlacing the fingers behind the back, pressing the tops of the feet into the ground, lifting up on the kneecaps, pressing them into the ground, and beginning to see, can you draw your shoulder blades up, down, and back so they're kissing. The hands reach down beneath the tailbone. Breathing into your proud chest, the chin becomes parallel to the floor. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, inhaling the chest up off of the floor. Seeing on your next inhalation, can you lift a little further so that the hands come off of the tailbone? Working with your inhalation and exhalation. So on the inhale, feeling as if someone's pulling the arms back in space and lifting you up. And on the exhale, dynamically letting the belly sink back down onto the ground as the breath leaves the belly. Pressing the tops of the feet into the ground. You're doing great. One more breath here. Inhaling, lifting up, hip bones press into the ground. And then on the exhale, lowering the chest, then the shoulders down towards the ground, then the chin down, then the hands reach onto the ground. You can place them underneath your head, or you can place the arms on the side of the body and then just rocking back and forth on the forehead. You can roll the head out so that any wrinkles would come off the top of the forehead by rolling and releasing that tension. Beautiful. Let's try that one more time. So inhale, rotating the shoulders up and down and back. So we're working on opening up the front side of the neck, which is going to help strengthen and stabilize the shoulders and the neck. So clasping the opposite finger on top, opposite thumb on top. It might feel a little strange at first. Lifting the hands up behind you, clasp hands behind you, moving down towards the tailbone as the shoulders lift off the floor. Breathing nice and proud into your chest, chin parallel to the ground. Inhale, reaching up as if someone's pulling you from behind. Exhale, you can even come all the way back down, head down towards the ground. A little more dynamic this time. Inhale, lifting all the way up. Hands pulling back past the tailbone, lifting up a few inches off of the tailbone here. And exhale. Head comes back down towards the ground. And the biggest breath of your day, inhaling back, lifting the chest up, lifting the arms back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and on the fullest of the exhale, releasing the shoulders, the neck, and then the head to the floor, releasing the arms down, making a pillow for the hands, and resting the right side of your head on your hands. Coming back to the breath. Seeing how quickly you can bring your awareness into calming down the heartbeat. Taking a nice full breath here. Beautiful. Okay, pushing yourself up. We're going to come into a cat-cow position here. So we move into opening up the shoulders. So rotating the shoulders up and down and back, pressing into the hands. The fingertips are nice and wide apart, like I'm giving somebody a high five as I press into the ground. And imagine the eyes, the interior of the arms, the elbows are moving back towards my pelvis bone, and the eyes of the arm are moving forward. So inhale, breathing up, looking back towards your belly button, tailbone tucked under. Breathing, the more that you press into the ground, the more you can either release through the shoulders
as the head releases down. And then you can just shake the head back and forth gently. Yes, please, here. Active, pressing into the knees, pressing into the hands. And then the head back and forth, thank you. And then inhale, belly comes down to the ground, tailbone comes up to the sky, top of the head comes up to the sky. And breathing into the front of the neck here. Really elongating through the front of the neck and chest. Breathing into the body, breathing into the front of the chest. And exhale, tucking the tailbone under, looking back towards the belly button. Opposite. And you might take this a little bit more dynamically. One breath, one movement, inhale up, exhale back. Pumping energy up the spine, but also keeping the awareness in the shoulders so that you're, with this movement, lubricating the shoulder joints. So we move synovial fluid into the joints through movement and through breath. So the deeper we can breathe and oxygenate the bloodstream, the more that fresh supply of oxygen moves into the joints and the body. And it signals for the body to create more synovial fluid, which begins to lubricate up the joints and allow them to become more mobile, more supple, and more fluid. Beautiful. So releasing and letting that go. Coming back onto child's pose here. Walking the hands out in front of you. And again, clasping the hands so that the elbows are pressed out behind the head. And seeing if you can get a little bit more space in the shoulders as the hands move back behind the neck in prayer position. Or even as the fingertips press together. Breathing into the back side of the body. Exhale, releasing and letting that go. Walking up onto your knees. We'll come into a camel pose here. Really great for opening up the shoulders. So rotating the shoulders up and down and back. The feet hip-width distance apart. You can either place it so the tops of your feet are pressed into the ground, or you can lift up onto your toes so you have a little bit more space here. Rotating the shoulders up and down and back, and then grabbing a hold of the back of the heels, walking the hands down the back. The chin comes up into the sky, lifts up, chest lifts up, opening up the front side of the neck. And imagine that you're squeezing the shoulder blades together here. Breathing into your chest, breathing into the front of the neck as you're pressing into the lower back here. And then on the exhale, looking back down towards the belly button, coming back up, tucking the tailbone under, and giving yourself a little rest here, coming back into Virabhadrasana or into Hero's Pose. Well, a different type of heroes, resting heroes. And then coming back up onto your, or Virasana, not Virabhadrasana, and then coming back up onto your toes. The shoulders rotating up and down and back, grabbing a hold of behind the hips so that the elbows are facing towards each other, supporting the lower back with the hands pressed into the lower lumbar spine, and begin to lift the chest up towards the sky, breathing into the front of the neck and the front of the chest. This is really going to give you a lot of opening in the front side of the shoulders. If it feels comfortable, you can begin to press more into the hips. So opening up from the base of the spine. So opening up base of the spine, then the middle, and then if the top of the spine feels comfortable, you can release the neck back. Make sure not to wrench in the neck. Don't just throw it back, but imagine looking up towards the sky and then first beginning to look back with the eyeballs, and then the eyeballs can then begin to look down behind you. towards the floorboard behind you. One more breath here. In your Camel's Pose. Breathing into the front of the neck. Beautiful. Inhale, pushing up into the hips, lifting up from the chin comes down towards the chest, then releasing the arms, then releasing the hands down the front of the thighs, then releasing the toes, pressing the feet into the top of the ground, sliding the arms down, and then coming to rest in a child's pose. Arms walking forward, knees apart, and releasing out of the lower back here. And again, pressing the hands together behind the head so that you can open up the shoulders, hands in prayer position behind the head. And asking, what can you do here to take another breath? Where can you become even just 10% more comfortable in this child's pose? We're doing so great as we begin to release the neck tension and create more space in the neck. You might even notice that the mind begins to slow down a little bit. Beautiful. Then walking the hands back up. Coming to sit in a seated easy Sukhasana pose, the right foot in front of the left, and we'll finish today's practice with some neck rotations to just create some more space. So I'm inviting you to inhale and place the hands so that they're on the collarbone here, and then just gently pulling down on the collarbone so that the shoulders are pressing into the side of the ribs here, and breathing up into your proud chest, the head coming up towards the sky. And then exhaling the chin back down towards the chest, breathing into the back side of the neck. The chin comes down to the crook of the upper spine. Belly button comes back down to the back side of the pelvis. And then inhale up, the chin up here, breathing into the chin. And then exhale, releasing the arms and letting that go. So we just did that to place some awareness on the chest, and that this is the area that we also want to remain open as we're working through these shoulder and neck rotations. So now that you have that experience of elongating and using the hands to pull down the flesh on the front side of the body, see if you can keep that length in the front side of the neck as you bring the chin down towards the chest, and then alternately chin up towards the sky on the exhale. Chin down towards the chest, and then back up to the sky. Very gently, we want to make sure we're not retching on the neck here, that it's very gentle, subtle movements. Especially if there's tightness or you've slept funny or have any tightness in the shoulders, bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. We want to be really gentle and organic with these movements, not pushing the neck out of its comfort zone, and exhaling back to the center. Inhaling left ear, left shoulder. Head back to center. Right ear, right shoulder. Head back to center, left ear, left shoulder. So just doing little head push-ups here, right? And then bringing the chin down towards the chest, inhaling left ear to left shoulder, and then we'll roll over so the chin rolls down, meets the center of the chest, the right ear rolls over to right shoulder. Really gently, not keeping that elongation in the front side. And then exhaling the chin back down to center. Rolling over, making a little U shape with the chin. And you might even close the eyes here and just begin to experience this from the inside. So inhaling the chin down towards the chest. And as you lift up, seeing where can you make a smoother line as the right ear moves towards the right shoulder. You might even draw the right ear all the way over so that you can look behind you. And breathe into the left side of the neck. And then exhaling the chin down towards the center. Take your time on the exhale till all of the breath leaves the body. Then on the inhale, inhaling the left ear to the left shoulder. And then see if you can extend on the next exhalation to look over your left shoulder, bringing the right ear so that it's almost parallel to the left knee as you draw the head up and finish that move. Very subtle side opening, diagonal opening of the neck muscles. Inhaling the head back to center and exhaling back up. And then we'll try that from the top. Inhaling the head up. Making a rotation. Eyes move along the horizon, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale up to center. On the exhalation, right ear to right shoulder. See if you can remain active in the breath here as you inhale the chin up. Exhaling the left ear to left shoulder. Active in the breath, inhale the chin up. Right ear, right shoulder. Beautiful. One more time. Left ear, left shoulder. Right ear, right shoulder. And then stopping in the center here. Hands to heart center. Breathing into your proud chest. Inhaling in through the nose. Thank you so much for showing up today, for being here for your own practice. Placing the hands in front of your brow. Giving thanks for right heart-centered thought that brought you to this moment of your healing. Placing your hands in front of your mouth for right heart-centered speech so that you can be kind in your speech to yourself and others. And hands in front of the heart for right heart-centered action so that you might stay aligned with yourself for your highest good. Thank you so much. Namaste and Ashe.